Episode 5 of Euphoria Season 3 starts with Cassie continuing to film content for her channel. Within 24 hours of the video with Brandon going viral, she's managed to nab 17,000 new subscribers. Maddie works Cassie to the bone and eventually she does manage to hit 50,000 subscribers. Maddie continues to help her get even more subs on top of this, with Cassie's angle being to work as the voice of the working man. When Cassie's called a Democrat on a podcast, she laughs back and says she's not retarded. Despite seemingly not caring about Nate, leaving him to pursue this career in Hollywood, we learn that Cassie still wires her husband money. In fact, she pings him $35k to stop him being evicted. Nate has now done a 180 too, now supportive of her channel, but Maddie is concerned. Cassie's right on the verge of going viral and she thinks Nate is using her, given he'll be entitled to 50% of her assets when she does. Brandon has also been instrumental in helping Cassie here though, and he argues more so than Maddie has. He tells her that Maddie has no power, and with professional videographers and editors at her back, he encourages her to cut Maddie loose so she can flourish. Meanwhile, Nate speaks to Cassie and believes that she should do some erotic scenes with Brandon. Nate has apparently been watching all of her videos and calls her a winner, giving her a rallying call to go and make money. Cassie rings Maddie next and learns she's an assistant, deciding that she's going to part ways with her. However, Maddie is nonchalant to the whole thing, and in fact she actually grabs her phone afterwards, makes a call and cancels an audition on LA Nights with Dylan. When Cassie panics and claims her head is swelling, Maddie has a contract ready for her to sign. Cassie doesn't even read it, immediately heading to the back page and signing on the dotted line. Only we soon learn that Maddie doesn't have a rehearsal lined up for her and she's been bluffing this whole time. Funnily enough, Cassie talks her way in through the front door, given her connections with Lexi, and manages to impress the director, much to Lexi's chagrin. Even with Cassie's help though, Nate has been missing his payments. When he misses his latest, Naz sends his goons over to beat him down. Meanwhile, Alamo prepares a counter-offensive to go after Lori and her gang. After they stole the drugs from a safe, he's determined to get what belongs to him. Alamo's pissed over Eddie's fear, seeing him as a Judas. Now Alamo calls Rue over to talk in private, but Bishop speaks to her en route, telling her that bad luck seems to be following her everywhere. The chat with Alamo that follows is brief, explaining that Lori wants to meet. Rue obviously passes this news on to the DEA, who want her to wiretap Lori so she incriminates herself. Rue is in the weeds and needs to get results, so she phones Wayne and thankfully he mentions how they've got a new girl working as a mule. Rue takes a detour over to Jules' that afternoon, who encourages her to let loose and have sex. However, when Ellis arrives later that evening and sees Rue's clothes, complete with initials in her underwear, he's not happy. Ellis tells Jules that she can't put his family at risk. Back with Alamo, Magic finds the planted drugs in her locker, courtesy of Rue's doing, and immediately brings it to him. She knows she's being framed and Alamo starts to examine more of the evidence closer, especially Rue claiming not to know the voices of those robbers despite them working for Lori. While Rue meets with Maddie to discuss business, Alamo shows up. He takes Rue outside to speak with G and Bishop, where they drive to the outskirts of Alamo's pad. Rue is forced to dig a hole. Alamo senses a business opportunity with Maddie here and wants to send his girls her way in exchange for a 15% cut of the profits. At the Silver Slipper, Maddie picks Kitty and Magic as the girls she wants to work with. In the middle of this, Lexi begrudgingly feeds back to Cassie that she's got her role on the soap and she's over the moon. Back at Alamo's for now, Rue is buried up to her neck in dirt, and as the main man comes riding in, he looks set to whack Rue's head clean off, bringing the episode to a close. So Euphoria returns this week with another underwhelming, mediocre slice of drama, this time continuing the humiliation ritual for Nate and Cassie. Nate in particular continues to curl up in a ball and cry, not even trying to fight back against Naz's goon when he shows up in the house. Nate hasn't even bothered to try and move, or hide from this guy, or even buy a gun to defend himself either. Although one could argue, I guess, that if he does anything, Naz would just retaliate a lot harder. Now it's worth noting that Nate has also caved quite quickly to Cassie doing OnlyFans, and is even encouraging her to now get intimate with another guy. Given some girls on OF don't go that route and still make a pretty penny, it's weird that he'd suggest this for her and be okay with it too. As for Cassie, she's both somehow simultaneously arrogant and selfish, while also adopting some of the old Cassie traits of caring for her friends. There's a bit of both squeezed together into this weird amalgamation of her character, and something has to give soon. It's worth noting that Cassie didn't even read that contract from Maddie. Who knows what she might have put into this. Jules returns this week and it seems there's zero consequences for her messing up the painting. It's just done. I mean, her storyline in general feels like it's just been crowbarred into season 3's plot without any real thought as to how it connects to everything else. This season in particular has really ruined her character as well. She has zero agency and no through line. Comparatively speaking though, Maddie's becoming the most interesting person in the show. This episode she has some really great dialogue with Alamo, and despite knowing he's probably a bad guy, she's obsessed with making it big and will do anything to get there. I hope we get more of this in the future because it's definitely one of the better parts of season 3. However, Euphoria is still a shadow of the show it once was. Remember when it was about a girl who lost her dad, so used drugs to cover up her pain and wound up battling addiction? Yeah, me too. Anyway, we'll see you guys next week. Thanks for watching, and do let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Smash a like or subscribe to the channel, your support is very much appreciated. I'm Greg Wheeler, and from all of us over here at The Review Geek, we'll see you on the next video.